Welcome back to the deep dive.
So the real strategic win in these AI image wars, it's not actually about who has the absolute best image quality.
Huh.
It's about eliminating that one piece of friction that everybody hates. Having to stop what you're doing, open a new tab, and switch apps.
That feels like a quiet, but a very clear declaration of war. OpenAI is basically saying, with this new ChatGPT Image 1.5, we're now good enough that you never have to leave this chat window.
Exactly.
You shared this amazing stack of sources comparing this new model against Google's, well, their very established Nano Banana Pro.
Yeah, and our mission for this deep dive is pretty simple. We want to distill all that so you know exactly which tool to grab for which job. We're looking for that strategic difference.
I think what really struck me is that we're not really looking for one overall winner anymore, are we? It seems like ChatGPT 1.5 is just built for speed, for iteration, and maybe most importantly, for keeping a person's face consistent.
Right. Well, Nano Banana Pro, it still has this lock on things that require, let's say, structural integrity. Perfect text, complex designs, and especially big crowds of people.
So you end up with two champions for two very different tasks.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so here's the roadmap. We're going to unpack what actually changed to take the old ChatGPT model from something you'd avoid to something you'd actually use.
Then we'll put them head to head. Quality, text, some tough editing tests.
And after all that, we'll give you the one simple rule for which tool you should be using and when. So let's jump in.
Let's do it. Let's start with what was wrong before. For months, the old ChatGPT image tool was just slow. It was clunky.
Yeah, people didn't use it.
No, it was way behind what Google was already doing.
Right. And the reports show they've played a surprising amount of catch-up. This isn't just a small update. It feels foundational.
The first big fix is just speed, pure and simple. They've made image generation 4 times faster. And that might just sound like a number, but in generative AI, that is, tools that create new stuff instead of just summarizing, that's the difference between a toy and a tool you use every day.
Right. And in practice, that just means you can iterate so much faster. You can test 4 different creative ideas in the time it used to take for one.
Does that jump in speed really change how people prototype visuals?
Oh, absolutely. Rapid generation saves so much time when you're testing a bunch of different ideas quickly.
The second fix is something that was, frankly, completely missing before. Real image editing. You can finally upload a photo and tell ChatGPT, change the background or add a dog or make this look like an oil painting. All right there.
And that was the killer feature that Google really had a monopoly on until now. And the third fix.
Yeah.
It tackles that classic AI weak spot, right? Text.
Yeah, text rendering. It's so much cleaner now. Fewer spelling mistakes, just looks better.
It's amazing how that one little thing makes an image feel either professional or just wrong.
And if you connect that to the bigger picture, it's that improved face consistency. When you give it a reference photo, that's probably the most valuable new feature for a lot of creators.
Okay, so now we know what changed. Let's see how they actually stack up when you just look at the quality of the final image.
Right. And the big finding here is that they're both really good. They both make professional-looking images. The difference is more like a different flavor.
A different aesthetic.
Exactly. They tested it with a prompt like, a modern, eco-friendly home built into a cliff overlooking the ocean at sunrise. Both models gave back just stunning pictures.
But they felt different.
Yeah.
The source said Image 1.5 had this really cinematic vibe. High contrast, dramatic lighting. A little moodier.
Yeah, almost like a still from a movie. Whereas Nano Banana Pro was cleaner, very reliable, super accurate. It felt safe.
Like a high-end stock photo.
Exactly. It's something you'd see on a brochure for a high-yield savings account. Both are good, just for different things.
Okay, aesthetics are one thing. But for professional work, the next test is key. Can it actually handle text properly?
This was the Build Smarter Systems poster prompt, a minimalist design.
And how did ChatGPT do?
It did well. Really well. The text was readable, it was aligned, no spelling errors, which is a huge leap from where it was.
But not the winner.
But not the winner, no. Nano Banana Pro won by a small but really important margin. The font choices, the spacing, the hierarchy, it all felt more intentional.
More like a designer actually made it.
That's the perfect way to put it. The source material called it designer-grade typography. It just understands the rules of design a little better.
So Image 1.5 is pretty close. Does that slight edge that Nano Banana has with text, does it really matter for the average person?
Honestly, only if you're regularly creating things like infographics or posters where that text hierarchy is absolutely critical.
All right, let's move on to image editing. This feels like where the real battle is happening. Making a nice image is, it's becoming table stakes.
But surgically editing one, that's hard. The AI has to understand context and physics.
So what was the first test?
Test one was the ceramic coffee mug swap. Super simple. Can you take a plain white mug and turn it into a handcrafted ceramic one without, breaking the shades or messing up the lighting?
Yeah.
A dead tie. Both of them nailed it. They added the right texture, the glaze, the reflections look totally natural.
Okay, so that's the baseline. Test 2 gets trickier.
Yeah, test two is where identity comes in. It's the outfit transformation with likeness preservation.
You give it a photo of a specific person.
Right, and you say, change their clothes into a barista uniform and put them behind a coffee counter.
And this is where you see a huge difference.
A critical difference. ChatGPT Image 1.5 kept the person's face almost identical to the original photo. It held on to that likeness.
While Nano Banana Pro.
The outfit was great, looked perfect, but the face had drifted. That's the term they used. It looked like a cousin of the original person, not the actual person.
I have to admit, I still wrestle with prompt drift myself, especially when I'm trying to keep a character consistent across, say, a bunch of different marketing images.
It's so hard.
That ability to lock onto a person's face and keep it even when you change everything else, that's vital.
So a decisive win for ChatGPT on that one. It's a huge deal for personal branding.
But then you get to test 3.
Test 3, crowd composition. This is a classic AI stress test. Create a realistic scene with 6 distinct people in a co-working space.
This is where models fall apart. They can't handle the spatial reasoning. They make everyone look the same.
And that's exactly what happened. Nano Banana Pro is consistently better at handling, say, 5 to 7 people. The faces were all different. The spacing was logical. It looked like a professional stock photo you could use immediately.
Whoa. And just imagine scaling that capability, generating 1 billion unique, perfect faces for synthetic data or for video games. That's where it gets really wild.
It really is. Meanwhile, Image 1.5's crowds still looked a little too AI. The characters often had similar emotions on their faces. The composition felt a bit unnatural, sometimes cramped. So Nano Banana Pro is the clear winner on the crowd test.
So why is that facial consistency we talked about so vital for creators right now?
It's essential for creating personalized marketing fast. If you need assets with a specific influencer or CEO, you need that likeness to be perfect every time.
The final real-world stress test they did was the YouTube thumbnail test. It needs a face, it needs text, it needs graphic design all in one. They used a photo of Mr. Beast.
And maybe predictably, it was a split decision.
Okay.
Image 1.5 won on the face. It looked more like him. But Nano Banana Pro won on the overall graphic design. The text, the layout, that classic shock face framing, it was just more polished.
So we're left with 2 fantastic tools that are just good at different things.
Exactly. And that brings us to the final takeaway for you. A simple rule.
The simple rule.
If your job involves people, speed, or personalization, think making custom Christmas cards with your family's faces, creating memes, that sort of thing, you should default to ChatGPT Image 1.5.
But if your task needs perfect text or complex structures or any visual that's meant to teach something like an infographic or a marketing ad, Nano Banana Pro is still the stronger tool.
Which brings us to the bigger strategy here. OpenAI's goal wasn't to crush Google.
No. It was to remove the reason you'd ever switch tabs in the first place.
They've achieved daily workflow lock-in. Before, if you were writing something and needed an image, you'd break your concentration, open a new app.
Right, and now you just stay put. That utility gap is gone.
And that competition is just incredibly good for you, the user. It drives quality up for everyone and makes everything easier to use.
So what's the immediate effect of this on the whole AI image market?
Competition just pushes quality up across the board. The tools get better and easier for everyone, no matter which one you pay for.
Okay, let's quickly recap the big ideas from this deep dive. Number 1, the utility gap is closed. You don't have to leave ChatGPT for your daily image needs anymore.
2, Image 1.5's big strength is that speed and its amazing ability to maintain a person's identity across edits. It's all about consistency.
3, Nano Banana Pro is still the champion of structured text and creating those big, believable crowd scenes.
And 4, the best strategy isn't to pick one winner. It's to use both tools for what they're best at. People versus precision.
This whole space is just changing so incredibly fast. We've just established that AI can now flawlessly maintain someone's face while changing everything around them.
And that leaves a pretty profound question for you to think about. If AI can now perfectly preserve a person's likeness through massive manipulation, what does that mean for deepfakes? And how on earth are we going to verify digital video evidence in the next year?
That is a very thought-provoking place to end. Thank you so much for sharing your sources and letting us go on this deep dive with you. We'll see you next time.